Well, we welcome you to Picks and Parlays here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm your host, Nick Geber, in for Chelsea Messenger. You can find me on Twitter at Nick Geber. And as always, we have a monstrously huge show for you today, this November 20th. I'd like to wish all of our Mexican viewers and people connected with the country of Mexico a happy Revolution Day. And of course, let's not forget, today is Transgender Remembrance Day. Let's have a moment of silence. Okay, and we're off. We got lots to get to today. Higgy Smalls, Sean Higgs going to join us to talk a little NFL football. Broncos at Bills, Giants at Bears, Cowboys at Patriots. Then a brand new capper for you. Look, we like to mix it up here. If you've been on our site, picksandparlays.net, you know who he is because he is a monster in the capping world. Well, we're happy to have him here on our show. Alex Smarty Pants Smart will join us. We're going to talk NBA and college basketball, Florida versus St. Joe's, Duke versus Cal, and the Pelicans at Suns. And then finally, if you're hungry for money, well, Chicken Dinner Chirimbes going to join us to talk some college football. Washington at Colorado, Oregon at Arizona State, Minnesota at Northwestern, and Michigan at Indiana. Those are the games that we'll be covering. Look, we do this show. We want you to participate. The way you do that is when you're watching us on social media, whether that's YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Just fill out in the comment section. We'll see it. We'll put it up there. You can find us. We're at Picks and Parlays, or you can hashtag Parlay Radio. We'll see it, we'll put it up, and we will endeavor to comment on it, provided it's not too rude. Some rude is allowed. Too rude is definitely not allowed. All right, I'm going to step aside and take a break. Before I do that, though, I want to make sure you go to picksandparlays.net during the break. Check out everything we have to offer. Remember, free picks galore, and when you're ready to kick it up a notch, every one of our cappers that we have on today, Alex Smart, Higgy Smalls, Sean Higgs, and of course, the chicken dinner man himself, Chip Chirimbes, they're all available on our site for their expert picks. Take advantage of it. Back in 3. See you then.
When it all comes together, it makes for a perfect fit. Satisfaction guaranteed. Robert Half, the matching experts in accounting, finance, IT, legal, marketing, and administrative staffing. Visit roberthalf.com/radio for more information.
We welcome you back to Picks and Parlays. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter at Nick Geber. Do find me there. All right, welcome back to the show, Picks and Parlays, here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. Also coming to you live on the American Forces Network and streaming live video for you on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter at Nick Geber. I'd love to hear from you, by the way. I tweet lots of interesting and amusing things throughout the week, at least amusing to me, which means they're not amusing to most other people. Anyway, welcome to the show. We are very pleased to be joined by a brand new capper on the show. Not a new capper at Picks and Parlays. In fact, if you've been going to Picks and Parlays, you'll see his name. He's always up there, top of the leaderboard. We are very pleased, though, to welcome in to contribute on the show. Brand new capper for us, Alex, Smarty Pants, Smarty Pants. Thanks for joining us. Shall we talk some basketball today?
Absolutely. Good to be here.
All right. Well, great to have you. Let's start with, I'll tell you what, let's get the NBA out of the way because we curated one NBA game for your personal edification. That's right.
Thank you.
The Pelicans at Suns. The Pelicans 5-9. They're 7-7 against the spread. Although Derek Favors, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Zion Williamson, all injured. They're really suffering on the injury front. They've won 2 in a row, most recently 115-104 win over Portland. However, this game, though, is going to be a 3-point extravaganza if you look at the numbers because the Pelicans are 5th best, the Suns 6th best in the NBA in terms of shooting 3-pointers. For the Suns, they're 7-6. They're 9-4 against the spread in the midst of a 2-game losing streak, most recently losing to the Kings, 116-120. They're 9-4 against the spread in the last 13. Smarty Pants, how do you see this game?
I see this as a very fast-paced game. The numbers tell the story. You can see the threes. The threes are there. They're shooting on a consistent basis. I mean, everything's up for grabs, we'll put it this way, offensively. And they're going to, really have to have your eyes glued on the court because when these two teams are going to come together tomorrow night, I can really see a track meet.
Yeah, it should be a really good one. I see the total points on this one at 233, and it's 6 points here. I got Suns -6, obviously Pelicans +6. What do you like? What side are you taking on this?
Well, 5 years ago, I'd look at a number like this, and I'd say there's value on the under, just automatically. Look at value on the under. Can't do that in the NBA anymore. These are two very fast-paced teams. The 233 is weak. We're going over.
We're going over. Oh. So not only is this going to be a great game to bet on, it's going to be a terrific game to watch as well if you are a fan of the NBA as well as just someone that likes to bet on the NBA. Those two things not necessarily the same, by the way. You going to take a side on this?
No, I don't like the number. I don't like the points that are being offered at this point. It could change over the next 24 hours, but right now, no. Just the total.
All right, so we're going over 233, Pelicans at Suns in the NBA. Let's move to some college basketball. Duke versus Cal. Duke 4-0, 3-1 against the spread. Unbeaten so far this season, most recently a 74-63 win against Georgia State. They're 10-1 straight up in the last 11 games. Of course, that's going back to last season. They're the under in 5 of the 6 against the Pac-12. That number I actually think is very interesting, Smarty Pants. Cal, 4-0, 3-1 against the spread. They've won 4 in a row also. However, quality of opponent maybe a little bit different. They last had a 54-50 win against Prairie View A&M, a school I have to admit, if I'm being totally honest with you, I didn't even know existed until about, an hour ago. So I guess live and learn. They're 8-1 against the spread in the last 9 games. We got 138.5 points. Duke prohibitive favorites at -19.5. How are we going to make money on this one, Alex?
Just one thing. Prairie View's got a great basketball program. They take it seriously.
Well, thank you for letting me know that.
Well, you know what? We've got a public leaning line here. Absolutely. 100% right off the bat. These are 2 4-0 teams, but obviously playing different competition, different talent levels. Most of Duke's starting 5 are ready for the NBA almost. And they probably will be there very shortly. So, but to make a long story short, because we have a public leaning line here, there is value taking the points here with Cal. I prefer get up into the 20 range, but we'll take what we can get right here for a minimal wager. All wagers should be minimal anyway. You should only use a certain percentage of your bankroll no matter what. That's my opinion. That's my long-term experience.
Wait. Stop for a moment.
Right. Yes.
If you're a novice bettor just listening to this show, explain what you mean.
Okay. What I mean is you have to treat your bankroll like it's, okay. Now I know there's weekend warriors. I know there's guys that just want to come out there and just, pound the game. Okay. Never mind the bankroll there. I'm always talking from a professional level. If you're going to be at this for a long term, over the long term period of time, try to bring your wagers back into the 1-2% range of your total bankroll. In other words, allocate an amount of money that you can afford to lose, or allocate an amount of money that you want to invest in sports betting, and then look at every investment as a percentage of what you're willing to wager, essentially. So 1 to 2% is a good number. Say it's 10 G's. Well, get out there and put 1% down.
Unless, of course, you fix the game, bribe the referee, in which case, it's a different matter, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always different. And I mean, there's bigger fish out there, and we're talking, $10,000 bets.
Yeah, no, I get it. So bankroll management is almost as important as who you bet on and how you bet, because it is one of the key parts, and I think the biggest mistake people make in all forms of gambling, not just sports betting, whether you like to go to the casino, whether you like to play poker, what have you, bankroll management, critically important. All right, let's get back to this. So Duke versus Cal, what are we taking on this one?
We're going to take the points. We're going to take the points. We're going to go against that number one team.
Okay, we're going to take the points, Duke versus Cal. Florida at St. Joe's. Florida 2-2, 0-4 against the spread. They're 0-5 against the spread, though, in the last 5, which is, making it even worse. Total has gone under 7 in the last 7 games for Florida. The most recent outing for them was a 59-62 loss to UConn. At St. Joe's, they're 2-2, 2-2 against the spread, coming off a 68-85 loss to Loyola Chicago, which isn't Loyola, and it's not Loyola Marymount, it's Loyola Chicago. Okay, total has gone over in 5 of the last 6. We've got St. Joe's plus 15 and total of 141.5. How come Florida sucked that bad?
I don't think Florida sucked. I don't think Florida sucks. I think essentially we have situations. There's always going to be algorithms to performance level. So I think that's what we're seeing right now. Just an algorithm, just a blip in the charts.
Listen, I've been accused of an elitist and a pompous ass. All of those things I might add are true. So, I'm allowed to make these wild and crazy statements. Okay, so St. Joe's plus 15, 141.5. What are we doing on this one?
Yeah, I'd like to lay the points. I'd like everybody possibly to wait till we get into a minus 14 number, lay 14 points. Florida's going to control the pace of this game. They're going to grind St. Joe's down. St. Joe's, great long-term program. Great basketball mentality there. We'll put it that way. But they're out of their league here, and they're going to get grinded down as the game goes on. And I need about 14 points for me to lay, to feel comfortable laying. Now, you can lay 15 points if you want, but it's not a perfect number. I'll just put it that way.
All right, Alex, get it. Now, Alex, tell us about what you do, what we can find from you at picksandparlays.net.
Well, you're going to find consistent winners. I'm not going to win every day, and I'm not a day trader. I'm a long-term investor. So you join me, on the long-term with a long-term outlook on things, and you're going to do fine. And
what's your specialty sports?
I look at I've got an old saying, and it's if it moves, I hit it. So if there's value,
hey, it's like me at the nightclub. Just joking. Okay.
Exactly. Yes, yeah. I've still got that mentality from when I was a young guy. Now I'm an old bald guy. But anyway, I'm with you 100%. But if it moves, I hit it, and if there's value, I'm there for it. I'm there.
All right, dear Slayer Ski writes us on YouTube. He says, "Let's go," with money bags alongside of it. You can get your very own bags of money filled. Just follow Alex Smart, picksandparlays.net. Smarty Pants, can't wait to have you back on. Thank you so much. Great segment. Let's do it again. Alex Smart, folks, you can find him at picksandparlays.net. You can find any one of our 35 great cappers right there. Listen, if you're going to bet, Bet with intelligence. Where you're going to get that brains? Well, you go to the school of picksandparlays.net and do some learning quick. All right, up next, NFL. Sean Higgs joins us on the show. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Well, thanks for joining us and rejoining us here on Picks and Parlays. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter at Nick Geber. By the way, I'm in for Chelsea Messenger, and we are expecting a baby. I mean, not Chelsea and I. Chelsea and Picks and Parlays as a company, we're all very excited. She's going to be having a baby here any day. It's not mine. Really, her husband's going to come after me with a baseball bat for saying this. So anyway, we wish her all the best. Everyone in the entire Picks and Parlays family, very excited about this event. All right, well, we promised you some NFL. We promised you our very own superstar, Higgy Smalls, and he is with us right now, Sean Higgs, or Deshaun, as we do NFL. We have to call you that as well. You ready? Oh, by the way,
let's do this.
I know that you've been quite somber today, given that it's Transgender Remembrance Day, Higgy.
Yes.
But is there anything in particular you'd like to say?
I miss my wig. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I got to bring back the blonde wig for Chelsea's baby.
Okay. All right. Yes, you got to bring that back. Absolutely. All right. Okay. Let's get to it, shall we? NFL. Speaking of overpaid, pampered prima donnas, let's talk about some NFL. By the way, I was not referring to anyone with that statement. All right. Broncos at Bills. Broncos 3-7, 6-4 against the spread. Lost 7 of the last 10. This is what I can't get, Higgy Smalls. Help me out here. All right, John Elway is the GM of the Denver Broncos, is he not?
Yes.
Think of this as like Congress. This is a public hearing now, and I'm grilling you, okay? Higgy Smalls, John Elway, legendary quarterback, is he not?
I have no recollection of that, Senator.
Okay, well, I'll ask the gentleman from Picks and Parlays to speak up. He's in the studio here.
Super Bowl winning quarterback. Yes, absolutely. Hall of Fame quarterback. Excellent player. I mean, come on. Guy was drafted by the Blue Jays, I think, too, in baseball. I mean,
so we're in agreement there. Those facts are indisputable. However, why is it this guy can't get a good quarterback on the Broncos? Because, quite honestly, they're just bloody awful, okay? They can't land a decent quarterback. Iggy, what's going on?
Does he want to land a decent quarterback? Maybe he just wants to be entrenched as the best quarterback in Bronco history, so he just brings in poor to average quarterbacks to cement his legacy.
I think if he had an average quarterback, they might be happy, but I don't think they managed that one either.
Well, they brought it an average Peyton Manning, and they took him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. That is true. That is true. I will give you that one. All right. They are playing the Buffalo Bills, 7-3, 6-3 against the spread. 6-3-1 actually against the spread. Bills have won 7 of the first 10 games, 2 games behind the Patriots for the AFC East. The over is 20-9 in the Bills' last 29 home games. Unsurprisingly, the Bills' favorites are only -4 though. Total points 37.5. I don't know. Higgy, tell me, what do we got on this one?
This line came out. I'm like, I kind of was liking Denver on the 5 here. I like the points. I was like, it's a little tricky, and it's actually come down, which means people are buying on Denver. The defense is for real for Denver. They got a decent defense. Problem is they can't score any points, and as they say, can't win if you can't score. I like the over here, 37.5. I think they're begging you to go underneath it. I don't know why. The Bills could score a little bit. And against bad teams, and let's be honest, Denver is considered a bad team in my book. I'd put them in there with your Cincinnati's and Washington's, struggling teams to score, your Miami Dolphins. Denver's right in that mix, and this is a team that Josh Allen and them have beaten in the past, and through their record, it just shows. You lose to Philly at home. They get smacked by Philly in a must-win for Philly. New England beat them here 16-10 while the Bills were driving. They had a shot to win that game. I think they're winning this game. I think they're covering this game. I think the game goes over. I think it's going to be 27, like a 14 type game. I see it definitely going over the total here. I don't know. It's an ugly game, yes, because you got Denver in there and you don't know what you're getting out of their quarterback play. And Allen has been up and down all year, but I'm liking the Bills here. I know the line's going against me because it's come down, but I still like them to take care of business. So that'd be my 1A play here, and I'm leaning towards the over here as well. So
all right,
Buffalo and the over at home.
And by the way,
before real fast though, it is November football in Buffalo, so keep an eye on that total. You can wake up, there could be a foot of lake effect snow coming into town, so that's something you always got to watch out on the totals up there in Buffalo.
Well, one of the things I love about doing this show is that whether it's on the radio, on Sports Byline, or on any one of our digital platforms, or YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, our listeners and viewers are always ready to correct us when we're wrong. Andrew, put that back up for us, would you? Because we had a comment here. Apparently, it was the New York Yankees. Here we go. Robert S. said Elway was drafted by the Yankees.
I've confused John Elway with Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge, who was drafted, I think, by the Toronto Blue Jays.
Okay, well, there you go.
You know who Danny Ainge is? Do you know who that is, Nick, or no? You don't even know who Danny Ainge is?
I am familiar with Danny Ainge. I even know how to spell his name, by the way, which is shocking.
Okay.
Not my own, but I do know how to spell Danny Ainge's name. All right, Giants at Bears is next. The Giants 2-8. Another great. What's this? The Peanut Gallery is piping in here at the studio, and the point is that they're usually correct, but they are 2-8.
Who's got the Bears?
No. It's I should say Giants at Bears. I'm getting. You know what? Turn the hearing aid up, okay? All right. Nick Chirimbes, turn the hearing aid up, okay? All right, Giants and Bears. Giants 2-8, 3-7 against the spread. We're having too much fun here, guys. Coming off a bye week, they lost to the Jets 34-27 in the last game. In the midst of a wonderful 6-game losing streak, which I know makes Giants fans so happy and thrilled. The Bears 4-6, 3-7 against the spread. They hope to bounce back after losing 17-7 to the Rams, and that is, I believe, the LA Rams and not the St. Louis Rams chicken dinner. Okay, Bears have won only one in the last 6. New York is 6-0 against the spread in the last 6 on grass, and they're 6-0 in the last against the spread in the last 6 when they smoke some grass. So it's all pretty good. Chicago -6.5, total 40.5. I don't know, Higgy, what do we got?
I like the Giants here at 7. It's come down a little bit. I don't know. This Bears team, I was down on them to start the year, but this defense has not missed a beat. Unfortunately, the offense not only is missing beats, they're missing passes, they're dropping passes, they're missing extra points, they're missing field goals. I had them on Sunday night. They hurt me there, but I just can't get behind the Giants. I thought about it, and I don't know. I'm not having any of it. I mean, rookie quarterback, growing pains aplenty. He's got talent around him. You think you take the Giants, steadily feed Barkley here, it would, generate some kind of offense. But the Bears defense is still as good as any. Let's be honest. Danny Jones here, he's turned the ball over. He's throwing interceptions. He's fumbling. The Bears are opportunistic. We need one score here. I don't care who's quarterback. And let's be honest, Trubisky's probably going to be on the bench. It's going to be Chase Daniel. What's his name? Robinson's the wide receiver's pretty good. The running backs are all right. I mean, let's be honest. You get a different quarterback in there, just I think elevates the play of everybody else. They have to be fed up with the way things have been going. So I'm going to take the Bears here, just because one, I got the better defense. I think the defense is going to score 1 touchdown, and they'll probably contribute to about 13 more points because I think they're going to turn the ball over here and have favorable field position for their offense. And Chase Daniel, come on, time to step up. Do something here, Chase. Put the ball in the end zone. Let's get the points. Bears get it done here against the Giants.
All right, Bears get it done against the Giants. You got it. All right, let's move on. Cowboys at Patriots. Dallas is 6-4 against the spread. Last outing was a road win in Detroit, 35-27, which saw Dak Prescott connecting 29 of 46 passes for 3 touchdowns. Here's the problem. Jeff Heath, DeMarcus Lawrence, Connor Williams, all questionable for Dallas. For the Patriots, 9-1. I hate this team, I have to tell you. And I don't really I didn't grow up with this, but to me, they are the Manchester United of American football. And as a result, I don't like them, all right? But regardless of that, 9-1, 7-3 against the spread. Bounced back after their loss to Baltimore with the win against Philadelphia. They're 5-1 against the spread in the last 6. We got Cowboys plus 6.5 and a total of 45.5. Sound about right to you?
Looks good to me. I agree with those numbers.
Well, very good. I'm glad.
So we got 6.5, 45.5 with New England. I'm liking the points with Dallas here. This New England team, I mean, you've seen it, you've heard it, they've talked about it. This is harkening back to early Brady. Defensive teams, offensive line is okay. The wide receiving core is not deep at all. The running backs are average at best. I don't think Brady's really lost a step, as opposed to the talent around him's kind of dropped a little bit. And, it's just tough. I mean, listen, they're 9-1. You're not really complaining. They got the best defense in the league. But you got a little challenge here. I mean, it's tough taking Dallas because their head coach is going to get out-coached right out of the building, right out of the state, right out of the entire Eastern time zone, because he's terrible. But I think he had a little too much offensive talent here. He's terrible. But there's just too much talent on Dallas side to get really blown out here. And the Patriots aren't a blowout team now. They're not a blowout team. They're a defensive team. You saw in this Eagle game, I had New England there, but if you watch that, they're punting the ball. They're not going, they're playing field position battles. They're not taking shots like, the old days with prime Brady. So they play to their strength, which is their defense. They'll be happy with a 1-point win. I don't think they're going to – this is not a 10 or 14-point big blowout. I mean, you're getting points with Dallas, and Dak's having a great year. He's having a great year. So
All right,
let's take the Cowboys into points.
All right, you got it. Higgy Smalls, always a pleasure. You can find Sean Higgs at picksandparlays.net. Go check him out, pick up his expert picks, and of course, lots of free picks for you there as well. Coming up next, our very own Tom Brady. He's oldie, but still a goodie. Chicken dinner, Chip Chirimbes. Welcome back to Picks and Parlays here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter at Nick Geber. Just a reminder, we're with you each and every weekday from 4 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. That is 1 p.m. on the left coast, bringing you the absolute best in sports information for your sports betting and, quite frankly, sports fandom needs, because you don't have to bet on it. You can just be a fan. We've got great information for you. We bring you some of the best handicappers in the country. You can find them all at picksandparlays.net. All right, well, speaking of the best handicappers in the country, I'm very pleased to welcome back to the show regular contributor, a good friend of mine, a gentleman, a bon vivant, a judge of good whiskey. If you like winning, there's no one better than Chip Chicken Dinner Chirimbes. Chip, great to have you with us.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks for the introduction. That was wonderful.
Well, you're welcome. Now, Chip, you've been on fire recently, by the way. Last couple have been very good. I followed you. We had the big game on Saturday, and your college football game was a winner.
Saturday was Minnesota, Iowa was the big game of the day, and I was able to eke out that win with Iowa as a 4-point winner, as a 3-point spread. And on Sunday, I had a bailout winner Sunday night with the Rams over the Chicago Bears, which is always a pleasure to beat the Bears.
Great, yeah. Well done, Chip. I mean, look, Chip is a proven winner, and you can find his stuff on picksandparlays.net. And just to note before we get into the games, okay? Chip, you do not win every game you put out there.
Who does?
I know. I'm putting it out there, okay? All of our cappers, their records are on the site for you to see. We're entirely transparent. No one's going to blow smoke up your you-know-what, okay? Everything's there for you to see at picksandparlays.net. Just want to make sure there are other cappers out there and other sites that make wild claims that are just ludicrous. If someone tells you they're 100%, they're 95%,
I've always seen those ads, where guys are
let me tell you,
18-1.
it's rubbish, okay? It's rubbish. Go online, real cappers, real good cappers, we have on picksandparlays.net. Totally transparent, college football. Let's get to it. You ready?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Now, you mentioned you had a big win over the weekend with Minnesota. Should we start with Minnesota?
Well, we can. Minnesota's going to making a trip to Indiana. Now, they're coming off they're going to Northwestern. Minnesota's going to Northwestern. And Northwestern's had an absolutely horrid year. They're 2-8 straight up. They're 0-6 against the number at home. Minnesota is a huge favorite here. I saw it at 13.5. I'm sure it's going to get larger. And the total's like 40.5.
Well, that's widened because actually it opened at 12.5.
But there you go. And I'm sure it's going to be one-sided action because Northwestern's offense is so inept. Their quarterback, Adrian Smith, is less than 50% passing. 3 touchdown passes and 9 interceptions. And this day and age,
well, sure, but I mean, TJ Green's been out basically since September, right? With
absolutely.
The injury, but they did snap the 7-game losing streak with that massive win over UMass.
Well,
it's UMass. Okay,
they've been struggling now, but Minnesota's got the balance. They've got a great running game. Tanner Morgan's quarterbacking. 22 TD passes, only 4 INTs, 68% completions. They've won 7 of their last 10. In the Big Ten, but this is a big number to lay on a conference game on the road.
Before we get there, though, I mean, really, it's a big number for sure. But, this team blew it with their loss to Iowa, okay?
Right.
Because, I mean, that ended their playoff.
Right.
So maybe they're going to come out and they're going to have a little, I mean, maybe Northwestern's going to be on the receiving end of their
I think just the opposite, Nick. I think I believe in something that's called, we do it particularly in college basketball where teams undefeated 10, 12 games in the season and they get beat. And we look for them to lose the second game out, bang, bang theory, because they're still shell-shocked from that loss and so disappointed that their ideas of going undefeated, their ideas of being one of the Final Four have been destroyed. It's virtually impossible, I think, for Minnesota to get there now.
Right.
So I think that maybe psychologically, everyone's thinking that they're going to be ready to come play. But will they be? Will they be? They may be down. I think they may come out a little flat. And, Northwestern
so
might
be shell-shocked, which is a term from the First World War. Now, was this something that you suffered after the Great War, Chip?
No, I suffered it every time you speak to me, but otherwise, I can see this game staying under the total for sure.
Okay, under. All right, so we're going to go under 38 on this game.
Right.
All right, Washington at Colorado. Washington, their last outing was against the Beavers. It was a win, 19-7. The under... Well, let's see. The under's gone 6-2 in the Huskies' last 8 road games. So that's interesting. So we might push under here. Well, how do you see this one?
They're 6-4. I see both these clubs being pretty disappointing this year. Colorado came up with a big victory for us against Nebraska early in the year, but otherwise, they're coming off a bye. They're 1-7 against the bye. They just had a 5-game win streak. A 5-game lose streak, which they broke by beating Stanford. And Stanford has been one of the major disappointments this year entirely. They started the season poorly, haven't gotten any better. Colorado's quarterbacking needs a lot of room for improvement. Nick, they've got this Steve Montez has 14 touchdown passes, 10 interceptions, and his Washington counterpart, the 6'6" Jacob Eason, 20 TDs, 7 interceptions, and they got a running back averaging 6 yards a carry. This Salvon Ahmad, 886 yards on the year. He's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher. It looks like there's only one way to go here for me. Washington has beat them 7 of the last 8 times they've played them against the points as well. I'm going to take Washington. I'll lay the points here. That's a huge number, but I just don't think Colorado can play.
All right, so you're going to lay the points.
All right.
You do that. Next up, let's see. What should we do? Let's do some.
We got Michigan State and Indiana.
Why don't we stay in the? Why don't we go to the Pac-12?
We can stay in the Pac-12 because Oregon, who would have been among the top 4 in the country, had they managed to defend one play against Auburn when they entered the fourth quarter with a 2-touchdown lead, their opening game.
Unbelievable.
Since then, they've won 9 in a row. Yep. And since then, they are taking people out. They're 14.5-point favorite.
And 10 games on the road.
And They've won the last 10 on the road. They're
Yep.
8-3-1 against this team in the last 12 meetings. And I'm talking about Arizona State, who started off fine last year with their new coaching, and they looked great against the points. This year, not quite the same. 5-5 straight up, 3-6 against the number. I see the Sun Devils with very little offense, and defensively, they leave a lot. Oregon, the Ducks, will be on the trail here. They'll be looking. This is the team I think that's looking to pound some for a spot because they're 5 or 6 in the nation. They just keep winning, and who knows? Maybe that Pac-12 team, which we had said would never get there.
Yeah, maybe this is that. Maybe finally, I'd love it.
We had said they would never get there. We said Washington's disappointing. Now they're going to have to deal with Utah, and Utah's coming on really strong, winning by 49 points last week, which we did post, by the way.
Of course, UCLA will make the playoffs as well.
And
so
UCLA
it'll be
may
two Pac-12 teams.
UCLA's
I like
got
Oregon's
enough,
helmets.
Yeah,
by
the
the way.
Bruins have enough to handle this weekend, don't they? They're playing the Trojans.
Oh, they're
so.
playing the spoiled kids of the
Yeah,
USA. I'll
okay.
make it. Lori Loughlin's probably stacked that team with her children.
Well,
all from there.
money talks, doesn't it?
Yeah. All right. So let's get back to this one quickly because Arizona State's interesting to me because they started off pretty well and then they just became crap the second half of the season.
Yeah,
and it's largely based on this really bad defense they have.
They don't
it's very
tackle anybody, Nick. I mean,
Really
I've watched
problematic.
this team play, and they give up points in bunches, and they've scored points at times. And I think that their coaching is a bit overrated. I'm not a big Herm Edwards fan. This is a guy who said you play to win the game, who kicked to tie a field goal with 1 yard to go to win for a touchdown.
Right.
So as far as playing to win the game, I don't quite get it. I'm not a big Arizona State fan here. I think that they're in trouble because I don't think they can stop.
All right, so what were we taking on this game because you were talking so much, you just went in one ear and out the other? Chip.
Well, you got to use the earplugs. That would help.
We taking the points or what?
Well, I'm going to take Oregon. I would lay Oregon.
So it's Oregon minus 16, right?
Right, whatever it is.
Well, that's what it is.
It was like, last week about Utah against UCLA. I said, lay it. And they got to 21,
And
22.
then she ran away?
It was
Okay,
56-3, I think the score was. The Bruins didn't show up last week, did they now?
No.
I have one more if you got time.
No, absolutely. It was part of their master plan. That's all I can say.
It is.
You think they don't know what they're doing down there in Westwood? You are just wrong, okay?
Well, I think they got potential.
Realize it.
Yeah.
They're going to realize it soon. All right, Michigan, number 15th ranked Michigan against Indiana. This is a Big Ten showdown. Michigan at 8-2, coming off a rivalry rout of Michigan State. It was a big win for them, 44-10.
Sure.
They're 5-2 in the Big Ten, which is interesting. Indiana 7-3. They lost to Penn State on Saturday. They're 6-1 against the spread in the last 7. So I got 51.5 points on this one. Michigan -8. Mr. Chirimbes.
Well, my first instinct is to play this game over, and
Yeah.
my other instinct is to think of this Michigan team that has suffered 2 horrible losses, and then they always seem to come back. Like beating a rival like Michigan State, like they did last week, is really something. Now Michigan State is down, and they really have been
They didn't
exposed.
just beat them. They pulled their pants down and
yes, they
spanked their
spanked
bare
them.
body.
They spanked them.
Yes, they
and,
did.
They're 0-3-1 in the last 4 meetings against Indiana. Last week, Scott Patterson, he threw for 384 yards. He had 4 touchdown passes. But, this Indiana offense averages 50 yards more per game than the Wolverines, but they also give up 50 yards more per game. Indiana has played well against teams with winning records, going 6-1 at home. 7-3 on the year, a really vast improvement for the Hoosiers. But I think this game goes over the total easily. With this Indiana offense and the way Michigan is putting points up, I see a lot of scoring here. I'd play this game over the total between the Wolverines and the Hoosiers. Michigan, Indiana, it goes over.
Oh, yeah, you're right, actually. And so the over has gone 5 of the last 6 road games for the Wolverines. So that would, that would definitely support your
They
position.
certainly play a much better brand of defense at home when
Yeah.
they've got a little backing from the crowd.
Right.
On the road, the intensity is a little bit more difficult when the crowd's rooting against you.
Yeah. So, all right, so you're going to take the points on that. Do we have anything else? Because, we've still got 3 minutes.
Well,
So who are you voting for this election?
No,
Woodrow Wilson?
I won't get into that.
Okay.
But I can say I can make a few comments about what's going on out there.
No, let's not.
that's why-
Okay, let's not.
Like you think that Antonio Brown should be playing in the NBA in the NFL this year?
No.
No. Do you think anyone's going to sign him?
No.
No. You don't think
Well,
so?
no, actually, the one thing I've learned about NFL teams in my, decades here in the United States is they are whores.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? They
No,
are
that's-
they are unapologetic whores.
That's why
Now,
the Patriots
there comes
are
a
looking to get
time
Antonio
when, and there are many occasions where that's absolutely something you want. Okay, particularly if you're maybe visiting Las Vegas for a good time. But they will sign anybody that trying to hit a player over the head with a bare head with a helmet. No problem. You get a 2-game suspension, $25 fine. We'll see you back in a couple of weeks. I mean, So maybe. But he's kind of an a-hole. Let's be honest.
Let's put it this way: it would be the Patriots that would probably want him more than anybody else.
Why not?
Because they put up with headaches and they get away with it.
Yeah.
And they would then again toss them as soon as they can. Really interesting thing now. With the Kansas City Chiefs beating San Diego, I really thought the Chargers would come up a little bit more on Monday night.
Chip, back up a minute.
Yeah.
They did not beat San Diego.
They beat the LA Chiefs.
They did.
No, they beat the LA Chargers.
They beat the LA Chargers, Chip.
I can't get that straight.
That was so long as San Diego has fallen into the ocean already. Okay.
It's an abyss. We have oceanfront property now here in
Yeah,
Vegas.
and that stadium now belongs to San Diego State.
The Aztecs?
It's no longer the Jack Murphy Stadium. You remember that?
Didn't they redo that? Didn't they come up with something different?
1853. Yeah. All right, Chip. No.
Where am I going to go from here with this guy? What do you want me to do?
Oh, having a good time. Listen, Chip has been around the block for a little bit. He knows what he's doing. This is one of our top handicappers right here.
Thank you.
Chip is top of the leaderboard just about every time you go to Picks and Parlays and check him out. Chip is right there. As I said before, and I just want to stress this one more time, it's really important that you understand the realities of what you guys do, okay? Yeah. Which is they provide you with sporting intelligence, okay? You're not going to go into a battle without knowing where the enemy is. You don't want to go in and make sports bets without really getting the education and getting the
It's
stats.
not always a matter of talent, who's got the better team, and a lot of times it's situations and psychological approaches to games. A lot of factors going into this. I'm the favorite or the dog, as well as the home or the road team.
That's right. Got to get the dog.
Yeah,
that's
dog?
right. The dog.
The
You
dog?
got to get it. All right.
Coffee?
Coffee and a jelly roll. You can find Chip Chirimbes.
Thank you for
Chicken Dinner Chip at picksandparlays.net. I really encourage you to go. Check out free picks, by the way. We've got lots and lots of free picks. When you're ready to go up a level, our expert picks are there for you. I'm going to ask El Guapo here during the break if we have a special. I'll put it out after the break. I'm sure we do. So stick with us here. Picks and Parlays. Chip, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Nick.
All right, coming up, recap of all the picks we gave out today.
Sex life? Have you been thinking about trying the blue pill? What if we can promise you the same results for less for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for the other blue pills. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. That's 800-223-0992.
Welcome back, Picks and Parlays here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Nick Geber. What a show. We've been jam-packed with picks for you. We introduced you to a brand new handicapper, Alex Smart. We had Sean Higgs, and of course, we topped it all off with Chicken Dinner, Chip Chirimbes. We had some great picks for you today. We're going to have a special. We do have a special right now on the site. Everything you buy on the site, all of our expert picks available for you, 15% off through tomorrow. Use promo code SCORE. That's promo code SCORE at picksandparlays.net for 15% off. All right, for those free picks, though, don't worry. I'm going to recap them right now. Here's what our guys had to say. We started off with Alex Smart, Smarty Pants himself. And here's where what we had.
I got it.
All right, we're going to have that in a second. Here we go. Duke versus Cal, take Cal plus 19.5. Florida versus St. Joe's, take Florida minus 15. And our NBA pick, Pelicans at Suns, take the over 233. All right, then we had Higgy Smalls, Sean Higgs. We did some NFL. Broncos at Bills, take the Bills minus 4. The Giants at Bears, take the under 40. And the Cowboys at Patriots, take the Cowboys plus 7. And finally, we ended it with Chicken Dinner himself, Chip Chirimbes. College football, we gave you 4 picks. Washington at Colorado, take Washington minus 14.5. Oregon at Arizona State, take Oregon minus 14.5. Minnesota at Northwestern, take the under 40.5. And the final pick of the day was Michigan at Indiana, take the over 53.5. Hope you have absolute success with these picks. I think they're pretty good. If you want more great picks, go to picksandparlays.net. Guys, we got free picks, guys and girls. We got free picks on everything. NCAA football, NBA, NCAA basketball, NHL, soccer, you name it, everything. Speaking of soccer, tomorrow you're going to get some early Premier League picks from me right here on the show. I know you're all going to tune in for that. In the meantime, remember, go to the site, 15% off all purchases at picksandparlays.net. Use promo code SCORE. All right, that's going to wrap up the show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you missed any of it, you can find replays at YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and of course the Believe Podcast Network. Till tomorrow, bet smart and bet, win, repeat.